Hey everybody, it's your boy KP. This is Real Deal Sports Talk. It is Thursday, April 26th, and the first round of the NFL draft has ended. These are the picks. This is my reaction. We had some good picks. We had some bad picks. We had some really bad picks. We had some interesting picks, some picks that we're going to have to see how they play out. But let's jump right into it because rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, are going to be amazing with some of the talent that is still out there on the board. So starting off the night, pick 1. The Browns kind of shocked some people. This news hit earlier today, but Baker Mayfield at quarterback out of Oklahoma goes number 1 to the Browns. Everybody thought it might be Darnold or Barkley, but Mayfield, he was my number 1 quarterback in this draft. He passed the eye test. He had the competition. He's a guy who had to work for it, and he did it. I like this pick. Cleveland is getting young. They are getting talented, and they are getting some swagger. At 2, the Giants, they go on and they take Saquon Barkley, the running back out of Penn State. This is a great pick for the Giants. You're going to pair him with Jonathan Stewart. That's going to be a great 1-2 punch at the running back position. Jonathan Stewart will play that veteran role, that relief role, which will be perfect for him later in his career. It's going to help Eli immensely. It gives them another weapon with Shepard and Beckham and Ingram and Barkley. And my boy Billy, you're out there. I hope you're really happy tonight with that pickup. I'll talk to you tomorrow. The Jets at 3, they go ahead and they grab Sam Darnold. Hadn't been a lot of talk about Sam Darnold to the Jets, but the Jets grab Sam Darnold. They throw the quarterback out of USC. They throw him into that quarterback room with a Josh McCown, who is going to be a great cushion, a great mentor for Sam Darnold, who possibly could take over this season. Teddy Bridgewater's in there, but I honestly see Teddy Bridgewater probably being released. I think he ends up sitting for most of the season, learning from Josh McCown, maybe taking over towards the end of the season and or next year. But good pickup for the Jets moving forward, it would seem like. Back with the Browns at pick 4, I think they reached here with Denzel Ward, the defensive back out of Ohio State. Wow, I really think that was an early pick is what I wrote in my notes. I do think, however, he will start day 1 for Cleveland. It was a need position. You could see him at the nickel or playing the outside, I believe, for the Browns. I think they could have probably traded back and still gotten him, however. That brings us to the Broncos at 5. They get Bradley Chubb, the defensive end out of NC State, pairing him with Miller, putting Shane Ray and Shaq Barrett back into that backup transitional depth role is going to be better for them. That gives them another great pass rush. Chubb can learn from Miller. Miller was all praises on Chubb recently. He's still good, but their secondary is still good, but not great right now. So getting that other pass rusher helps them out quite a bit. You could have seen linebacker here. You heard Darnold and Mayfield if they were going to go quarterback. They were gone. I knew they weren't. I didn't think they were going quarterback there, even if it was Darnold or Mayfield. I actually expected them to trade back. Colts at 6, they get one of my favorite players in this draft, the second favorite guy actually behind Saquon Barkley. That's Quentin Nelson, the guard out of Notre Dame. He's a mauler. He's a beast. It's one of those picks there at 6 for the Colts. It's a lock if he's healthy and stays healthy for years to come, and if Luck is healthy and gets to play again in his career, this guy will protect him and keep people out of the middle, and he helps the run game as well. At 7, the Bucs trade their pick to Buffalo, and Buffalo also picks up a 7th-round pick from the Bucs, and Buffalo jumps up and they take Josh Allen, the 3rd quarterback taken in the draft, the quarterback out of Wyoming. Kind of makes sense. The big arm moves from Wyoming to New York, so he's used to the cold weather. I think they jumped up here because they were worried about Miami possibly taking him. He might start early considering McCarron's contract, 2 years, $10 million. He could come in and have just enough to beat an A.J. McCarron out and put A.J. McCarron back into that backup role. The Bears at 8 get a good linebacker. My favorite linebacker in this draft, Roquan Smith out of Georgia. It's a great pick for Chicago. It's a need pick, just like I had talked about. My philosophy is you take the best player at a position of need. The Bears accomplished that here. He's a side-to-side guy, really going to help the Bears in the NFC North. At 9, the 49ers take tackle out of Notre Dame, Mike McGlinchey. Great protection for Garoppolo. He's definitely a run blocker type guy. Right tackle, left tackle, we'll have to see. Maybe left tackle, probably right tackle in my opinion. The Raiders at 10, they trade their pick off to the Cardinals, who pick up that 10th pick, and they jump up and take the 4th quarterback in this round at Josh Rosen out of UCLA. I think this is a good pick for the Cardinals, honestly. Similar style to Bradford, who's going to be the starter. Bradford and Rosen have similar injury issues, different parts of their bodies, but injury issues, durability issues. David Johnson's going to help out there a lot. Not sure they needed to make this trade here. However, again, maybe speculation that the Dolphins might be taking a quarterback got them to jump up a little higher than maybe they needed to based on the teams that were getting to come up in the draft and then the lack of a need for a quarterback there. At 11, the Dolphins take Mika Fitzpatrick, the defensive back out of Alabama. Big need for the Dolphins. They need to get more athletic. They need to get younger on that back end. He's a great athlete. He's going to play all over that defense, a great weapon. You're going to see him blitzing, covering, playing linebacker maybe in the dime packages. Great pickup there for the Dolphins. My sister's probably extremely happy tonight. At 12, the Bills, they trade the 12th pick to the Bucks, and the Bucks get the 12th pick, the 53rd pick, and the 56th pick in the draft, and the Bucks jump in at 12 and take Vita Vea, the defensive tackle out of Washington. What we're seeing is a little bit of the Philadelphia carryover from the Seahawks Broncos effect with these defensive line rotations now, because now you're going to put Vita Vea with McCoy. They brought in some other free agents, Jason Pierre-Paul, Curry. So you're solid up the middle. They have good linebackers, a lot of depth, a lot of rotation there. This was a wow pick for me, a little bit, but I really like it. 13, Washington, they take Daron Payne, the defensive tackle out of Bama. 2 years in a row now, they have taken Alabama defensive linemen. That's going to help Kerrigan out quite a bit. They're younger, they're stronger. He's a run stopper. You got Elliott and Dallas and their offensive line, what the Eagles offense did last year. The Giants offense just got better. This is a really good pick for Washington in that division. The Packers at 14 trade that pick to the Saints, who jump up and take Marcus Davenport, the defensive end out of University of Texas San Antonio. He's a pass rush talent. He needs to develop more. He's going to be on rotation at first. Don't expect him to be a starter, but on that defense that was good last year, you give them this rotational pass rusher who's going to develop and get better over time. Very good pick for the Saints. A little surprised. A lot to give up to move up to that pick, and we'll get to what they picked or gave up when we get to them later. The Packers pick later. At 15, the Cardinals, they trade that pick to, they traded up to 10 to get their quarterback, so this is now the Raiders pick, who got the 79th pick and the 152nd pick also in that trade. And they jumped way up to get Colton Miller, who I expected at the end of the first round, the tackle out of UCLA. So I'm a little like, okay, Gruden, what are you doing there? He's a good player. He's hurt often, only 23 starts over the last 2 years. Protection for Carr, who did break his back. Donald Penn, he's getting older and he's expensive. Could play left or right side. We'll have to see what they decide to do there. The Ravens at 16 trade their pick to the Bills, who get the 16th pick and the 154th pick in the 5th round. and they jump up and take defensive end out of Virginia Tech, Tremaine Edmonds. He's a little raw. He's 19, linebacker, defensive end, maybe by the time he's done growing and putting on weight. He's a little bit of a project, super athletic. He can run, he can tackle, and he doesn't have to start right away. But good, strong defensive tackle or player. By the time he's 25, 26 years old in his physical prime, you could be talking about one of the top linebackers. And like I said, depending on if he continues to grow and put on weight, maybe top defensive lineman, as he's very good off the edge there for Buffalo. At 17, I really like the value of this pick, Derwin James. I'm really surprised he fell, the defensive back out of Florida State. Great athlete, great size, comes with the power and tackling, can cover. He's a good fit for that defense and that division with what they have going on right now. The Seahawks at 18, they trade their pick to Green Bay. Green Bay gets the 18th pick and the 248th pick in the 7th round, and they take Jari Alexander, the defensive back out of Louisville. He recovers fast. He covers well. Not really any help for Rodgers, which is surprising. You would think, again, they're going to get this guy some help at some point. No knock on Jari Alexander, one of the better defensive backs in the draft. Green Bay needed defensive players. They needed to get younger. So good pick overall, but shocking they didn't get somebody for Rodgers once again on that side of the ball. Cowboys at 19, they'd get Leighton Vander Esch, the linebacker out of Boise State. I really like this pick for them. You put him with Sean Lee, you put him with Jalen Smith. You have solid linebackers now. You saw what that defensive line was able to do last year. A couple of guys in question, sure, but you still got DeMarcus Lawrence doing his thing. Vander Esch is going to be a side-to-side guy. He's great in zone coverage. He's a little small in the run game, and what I mean by that is he doesn't take on the blocks real well. He has to get over, around, or under them. You're not really seeing him go through anybody. So a little more physicality would be good in the run game there, but he'll pick that up as he develops in the NFL. At 20, this is my least favorite pick in the entire first round, and it's sad to say this is my team. This is the team I root for. The Lions, they take Frank Ragnow, the center out of Arkansas. All I can say is, it's another Arkansas center to the Lions. I'm not really impressed with this pick. The kid's got talent when he's on the field. Not a lot of starts. He's not the top center on my board. I'm sure they have a plan in place that I just don't understand. I've been saying this now with Bob Quinn for, it seems like the whole time he's been in Detroit. But my least favorite pick of the entire first round was that pick by the Lions at 20. Because the very next pick for the Bengals at 21, Billy Price, was a better center prospect out of Ohio State. And even more versatile. He can play both guard positions. He can play the center position. Yes, he had the pec injury that had him leave the combine hurt, and he had to get it surgically repaired. But he's a better prospect. He's been cleared to most likely be back by training camp. And it just makes, again, that Lions pick look like, what is their plan? What are they thinking? What's this new direction they're going in? At 22, the Bills, they traded, remember, with the Ravens. The Ravens got the 22nd and the 65th pick in the third round. They then went and traded the 22nd pick to the Tennessee Titans, who also picked up the 215th pick in the 6th round to get linebacker Rashaan Evans. Maybe my team, the Lions, needed a linebacker. Oh, yeah, that's right, they did. But instead we got a center. Okay, that's the last time I'll harp on that. Frank, sorry. Welcome to the club, bud. Pick 22, the Titans, Rashaan Evans, linebacker out of Alabama. Great pickup for the Titans. They're young D for the most part, but with old linebackers. He's still got a little bit of learning to do. He's a little bit of raw, but he's super athletic. He's had some injuries. But I like this pick for Mike Vrabel and the Titans. The Patriots at 23, they take Isaiah Wynn, the guard tackle prospect out of Georgia. This makes sense. They lost 2 tackles. He'll start right away is my prediction. They do have They had 2 first-round picks, so this is a good pick for them at 23. A lot of people expected Miller to be here, but he was off the board. And the Patriots are pretty solid on the inside, considering they lost 2 starting tackles. The Panthers at 24, they pick up wide receiver DJ Moore out of Maryland. They need a weapon there at a receiver for Carolina. This kid's got good grit. He's a little raw, I think, in route running from what I've seen on tape. He doesn't have that crisp break in any of his routes. Kind of just rounds them off a little bit. And he's a small target for a guy who's not really good at hitting small targets. In Cam Newton, it's not really his strong suit, but they're kind of, it seems like, forcing him that way with their picks the last few years with Samuel and McCaffrey, and now DJ Moore at 6 feet tall. So Torrey Smith is going to have to take the top off, and Moore is going to have to play in the middle with Olsen, who just got his extension, and in the flats for sure. The Titans at 25, like I said, they traded with the Ravens, who get that 25th pick and the 125th pick in the 4th round. Ravens jump up and get Hayden Hurst, for the tight end out of South Carolina. He was a pitcher turned tight end, played for the Pittsburgh Pirates farm system. He'll block. He's a hand catcher. And you got to trust Ozzie on his way out, the Hall of Fame tight end when it comes to tight ends. So good pick there for the Ravens. 26, the Falcons, they take wide receiver Calvin Ridley, give Matt Ryan another weapon. He's got to be super happy about that pick with Sanu, Jones, and Ridley. The rumors about Jones leaving town because of his social media thing, I don't know what that's all about, but that's quite a trio of wide receivers there for the Falcons. Weapons on weapons on weapons. At 27, nobody wanted the 27th pick tonight. It's kind of like the 22nd pick. The Saints had it. They traded it to Green Bay, who picked up the 147th pick in the 5th round and a 2019 first-round pick. Then they traded that to Seattle, who got the 27th pick, the 76th pick, the 186th pick, and Seattle then chooses Rashad Penny, running back out of San Diego State. Now, again, this is a guy we thought was going on day 2, going in round 1 on day 1. Congratulations, Rashad Penny out of San Diego State. I thought this was early, but he's a great back. He has hands. He's strong. He's not super fast, but he's fast enough. I like it a lot. It's a position of needs for Seattle. They've had running back issues keeping guys healthy or keeping guys that look like they were going to have the ability to be the next guy after Marshawn, and it just hasn't worked out. Now they have Rashad Penny back there as a weapon there in Seattle. At 28, the Steelers take Terrell Edmunds, safety out of Virginia Tech. If that name sounds familiar, that's because his brother went earlier in the first round. The linebacker, before I say his name wrong, Tremaine Edmunds went, so it's Terrell and Tremaine went 16 to the Bills, and Terrell's went 28 to the Steelers. They needed safety help. Mitchell's out. He's a good athlete. He's got good size, good range. First time brothers have been drafted in the first round in NFL history. And the best part of the Steelers pick was watching that brave young man, Ryan Shazier, walk out on the stage and deliver that pick. At 29, the Jaguars, the rich get richer. They take a guy who's going to definitely be a rotational player in Taven Bryan, that defensive tackle out of Florida. Another piece on that defensive line. They're just going to come at you. I thought they might go offense here. I really like the idea of a Lamar Jackson there and add that to that offense and just see that team take off. But they went defense. He's another Malik Jackson type player. We all saw what Jackson did next to Derek Wolfe on that Broncos defense. Man, nobody's going to want to mess with this Jaguars team next year. The Vikings at 30, they take Mike Hughes, defensive back out of Central Florida, another defensive back. I'm thinking maybe nickel unless they move Tremaine Wayne inside. They have Xavier Rhodes. But another defensive back for a strong defense there in Minnesota. At 31, the Patriots take Sony Michel, Also, we thought might be first round, maybe second round type guy, but a typical New England style player. He can do it all. Good hands. He's shifty. He's strong. They clearly weren't worried about the reports that his knee is bone on bone. But then again, with the way New England uses their running backs and goes through running backs and adds new running backs and cuts running backs, it kind of makes sense you would go ahead and take the risk there with a guy like Sony Michel. At 32, the Eagles trade that pick. They trade out of the first round. They trade it to the Ravens, who also pick up the 132nd pick in the third round. The Eagles get a pick in the second round, 52, the 125th pick in the fourth round, and the Ravens' 2019 first round pick. Hey, Ozzy's on the way out the door. This is his last draft. Let's go out with a bang. He picks up Lamar Jackson, the quarterback out of Louisville, with the 32nd pick in the first round. Flacco, his contract can be dumped next year. He has not lived up to that contract that he got after the Super Bowl run. They brought in an RG3 as the backup there. They have a coach who was successful with Colin Kaepernick on that run to the Super Bowl with the 49ers. They're kind of looking at the success of Watson, trying to get in front of the trend, I feel like, with this one. And this is a draft that started with a Heisman Trophy winner and ended with a Heisman Trophy winner. All kinds of special moments in this draft. Another thing that happened tonight, Martavius Bryant was traded to the Raiders for the 79th pick in the third round. So he leaves Pittsburgh and goes to Oakland. You have 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. You have the Lions messing everything up. You have the Chargers and the Broncos getting probably the best picks outside of the Giants at 2. I think those are my favorite picks. The Saquon Barkley to the Giants, Bradley Chubb to the Broncos, and Derwin James to the Chargers, just off value alone. Ravens had a good first round. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 teams involved in trades tonight. 7 trades in the first round. What a round. First round's on the books. Tomorrow night, rounds 2 through 3. You know how we do. It's going to be exciting. NFL Draft 2018. Real Deal Sports Talk with KP. Until next time, be real.